Well, folks, we have a bit of a strange story today. Do you remember the game called The Day Before that released last year before being pulled, and 4 days later they shut down? Do you also remember all the different controversies surrounding them? Well, it turns out the same people behind that are trying to get another Kickstarter going and try again. But before I cover the Kickstarter campaign, I want to give you all a mostly brief overview of the year's worth of controversy surrounding their company Fntastic. I could go into a lot more detail about each of the points I'm going to bring up, but that would make the video well over an hour long, and I want to try and keep this one a little bit more brief. So, it all started back in January 2021 with a trailer that seemed to catch a lot of attention, with two players driving and looting around a city, getting chased by other players, and then getting chased by a horde of zombies. So it seemed to be an MMO zombie survival game. Over the course of the year and a few more trailers that released, the hype for the game was building. Around this time, they also released the game Prop Night, which reportedly sold around 200,000 copies and made almost $3 million. So things were starting to look up for the company Fntastic. Then, in January 2022, they released an NVIDIA-sponsored video showcasing some PC-exclusive features, and they announced the first release date of June the 21st, 2022. And from here is where things started to go a little bit downhill, which began with delaying the game by 6 months, just 6 weeks before it was due to release. A month after the delay, they faced accusations that they weren't paying their employees. Fntastic countered by saying they weren't employees but volunteers, and that the unpaid workers would get cool rewards, participation certificates, and free codes. So, yeah, not off to a great start. They would be silent until 2023, when the Steam store page was very suddenly removed after being near the top of the wishlist for almost 2 years. Fntastic first claimed it was a trademark dispute with an individual, but later it came out that it was due to the calendar app The Day Before, which released back in 2010. They claimed, because of the trademark dispute, that they will need to delay the game again, even though they later admitted to IGN in an interview that they were always planning to delay to November in the first place, because of their shareholders. Fntastic also claimed that they filed the trademark back in 2019, but public records show that they only did so in 2022. Maybe they hoped that nobody would actually check. There was also a whole bunch of plagiarism and copycat allegations against The Day Before, which included Call of Duty, The Last of Us, The Division, Cyberpunk 2077, GTA, and Red Dead Redemption. Some of the staff even spoke out to various media outlets and said it was a toxic workplace, and they were told to copy other games. Fntastic did not like people making these comparisons and tried to claim that this information is dangerous, which is just flat out ironic coming from them. Around this time, people started to say the game was a scam and an asset flip. Fntastic, of course, denied this, which led to this post that I'm showing now from Reddit user Epic1989. After their Steam post was removed highlighting the assets Fntastic claimed they weren't using. At this point, I just want to clarify something about the asset flip complaint. I'm not against devs using the marketplace assets to save time, but the devs should be upfront about it and integrate it with their own designs. My issue is more with the false advertising and claiming it isn't asset flipping, and that they were working on the game for the past 5 years when they clearly weren't. Fntastic weren't using these assets to cut dev time. They were using this to develop the game. The whole game was based on assets bought from the marketplace, even down to the cameras using to control the characters and the different UI elements. It was just, yeah, they weren't developing the game. They were buying the licenses and putting it together. Then in April 2023, Fntastic decided to put their foot down and promised there wouldn't be any more delays, and the game will release on the 10th of November 2023, and that there would be a beta closer to the release date. Which brings us to the 1st of November, just a week and a half until the scheduled release date. And in true Fntastic fashion, they announced that the release date would once again be pushed back, this time to December the 7th. And it will only be available for PC players, not the consoles, and on top of that, it will be coming out in early access, which was also the first time any news of early access came out, as before that people assumed it would be the full release of the game. And with regards to the beta they announced back in April, well, that was only for their volunteers. As there weren't any pre-orders, I was surprised when the release date arrived and some people actually bought the game. And it turned out the day before wasn't even the same genre of game that Fntastic had spent advertising it to us. It turned out that the day before was an extraction shooter, not an MMO survival zombie game. And then the Steam reviews and negative press started rolling in, and 4 days later, they pulled the game and issued refunds, claiming they didn't have any money to continue, and have basically been silent since. Which brings us back to this Kickstarter campaign Fntastic 2.0 are trying to start. I am not here to try and sell this to you. In fact, I would prefer if none of you waste your money on this. Instead, I want to make this video to try and stop anyone from falling for this again, because even in their FAQ, they are still blatantly lying. So this is the Kickstarter campaign for the game Escape Factory. They've already got a couple of $100 and some backers. Maybe those are the devs back in their own game, because I hope nobody is actually trying to fall for this again. But down in their FAQ, when asked what has changed since the closure and why did they decide to return, they said, after the closure, we reflected on our past mistakes and initiated significant internal changes to drive radical improvement. We've discontinued the practice of involving external volunteers and are now fully committed to a more professional approach. Honesty, transparency, and community engagement have become our top priorities. Having learned from our past mistakes, we've developed Fntastic 2.0, a plan for recovery. A little bit further down, when asked, has the team at Fntastic changed? They said, our team has become smaller, but it still consists of the same people who created all of the previous games. Keep that in mind. And then, blatantly contradicting what they said earlier, some team members are helping out on a goodwill basis. Some are juggling other jobs, and some are working only in the evenings. Some team members are helping out on a goodwill basis. Does that not sound like they got volunteers back again? And yet they claim they're not working with volunteers anymore. Just, yeah, okay. I do not want to get worked up about this too much more. They do mention that if they don't reach their goals of, I think it was 20,000 US dollars, they won't be releasing this game and they will be shutting down. So, do you guys think that they deserve a second chance? They do already have a couple of $100 in their Kickstarter, or do you think they have burnt all the bridges and shouldn't make a comeback? Please let me know down below. Clapping that like button should help spread the video to hopefully avoid more people getting scammed. Otherwise, I hope you all have a fantastic day. Take care, and cheers for now.